Hello friends, welcome back. This is Amit from Magnet and today we are going to create this awesome environment scene inside Unreal Engine 5.3. So first take a look what we are going to create today. So before we start, if you are new to this channel, I recommend you to check my videos, and if you find those videos useful, please do subscribe this channel and turn the notification on. And here I like to shout out for all those people who has already joined me as a member. So if you really want to support me, you can also join me as a member. So let's get started. So I open my Unreal Engine, then I choose this games option here and also choose this third person template. And here I click on the starter content, then I name my project as tutorial and hit on this create. And after that I go to this file, then go to this new level and I choose this empty level, click on this create. And now we're going to quickly set up our lighting. So for this we go to this window, then we go to the environment light mixer and we click on this create skylight, create atmospheric light, create sky atmosphere, create volumetric cloud and create height fog. And then we go down here and click on this volumetric fog to enable this volumetric fog here, and then we close this window. And now we're going to create our landscape. So for this we go to the select mode button here, then go to this landscape, and we don't need to change anything here, just click on this create. So here is our landscape. So we go back to our selection mode and now we're going to put a landscape material over this. So for the landscape material, I'm using a free landscape material from Unreal Sensei, and I'll show you that how we can get that material. So many thanks to the Unreal Sensei who actually built this material and also gave it as a free. So if you want to get this material, you have to go to this site, and I also gave this link in the description down below. And after that you have to put your name and your email address over here and then just click on this get it now. In that way you will get a download link in your email address. Just go through that link and you can easily download this auto material, and from your mail you will get this link to download this asset. Just click over here to download, and once you download the assets you will get this file. So first we're going to extract this file, then we open this folder, and under this UE5 landscape folder you will find this project file, but we don't need to open this project file. Just go to this content and we're going to copy these three folders, which is example, landscape and this Megascans. So we select all of these three folders and then we just copy this one, and we're going to paste those folders into our actual project directory. And here is our project directory. Then we go to the content folder and here we're going to paste those files. So here it is, and you will find those folders over here into your content drawer. So if you not find those folders over here, just restart your engine and you will find those folders over here. So now we're going to apply this landscape material over our landscape. So in order to find the landscape material, we first go to this example folder, then we go to this materials, and here you will find this kind of three types of materials, but we're going to use this one, the second one, which is the nanite version, because if you're going to use this one, we're going to enable our nanite displacement over our landscape. And in order to apply this material, we're going to select our landscape, then we come to this details panel over here, and here is the landscape material slot, and we're going to just drag and drop this landscape material over here. And you probably see that your landscape looks something like this. So we go to the landscape mode again, then we go to the paint, and here you will see all these materials over here. First we go to this auto material slot, and then we go to this plus sign, and we just click on this wet blended layer, and you have to save this material. So just save it over here and then do the same things to all of these So now you can also paint other layers also. So if we go to this B layer, and maybe we can go to decrease our brush size little bit down, so maybe just like that. And if you click and drag your mouse, you can see that you can easily paint the other layers also. And likewise, if we go over here, and then we can easily paint. When you look from the top, it look nice, but when you come down to the horizon, you can see that this is something flat, but we have to use the nanite displacement features in 5.3. So for this, we have to use some additional files to its project settings. So I will show you that how you get those additional files. So if you go to this landscape material, so here it is. So if we go to the example and then go to this materials, and here it is. If you double click to open this material and then go to this hierarchy and just click over here. And if you go over here, the down here, you will find this command. So we're going to copy these commands from here and paste it into a specific place. So in order to copy this, just go over here and just double click, and you will select these commands and just copy it. So just right click and copy. Then we go to our project directory. So in order to get this project directory, first we go to open our Epic Game Launcher here. So here is our actual project, which is called tutorial. Just right click and go to the show in folder, and then we go to this config folder and also go to this default engine folder, and here you will find these commands. So we go to this last commands, which is start with R, then we press enter, and here we have to paste the additional commands. Just Ctrl V to paste here, and then we just close this one and also save this, and then we also close this material. Click on this save, but you can still see that we didn't get these tessellations or the displacement because we have to restart our engine first. And also we save our progresses here, and then also we save our level. So maybe we name this as a tutorial and just save. So when we open our engine again, we go to open our level also. So here it is. So now as you can see, we still not get the displacement here. So first we go to our landscape material here. So here it is, the landscape material. Just click over here to find this material, and then we're going to double click to open this material instance here, and maybe we can make it over here. So this material is placed on this C section. So here it is, and when we go to the C, first we go to this option, that is the C material displacement, and make sure that turn this on over here. And when this turn this on, then we minimize this one and we select our landscape, and also go to this outliner and make sure that you select your landscape. Then we go to its details panel, and then we go down here, and under after this advanced, you will find this nanite option. Just click on this enable nanite. Okay, just like that, and also click on this reveal data, and then you will finally get these nice tessellations over here. Okay, so as you can see that this look really amazing, and if we change our light position, you can also get nice shadow which is created by this landscape itself. And maybe we can also use additional painting. So if we go to this landscape and then we go to this paint again, and maybe we can use this one or maybe this one here. And as you can see that it can make the real displacement over our landscape. So this is very nice. So this is for the landscape for now, and now we're going to put some additional assets. So first we're going to put a nice warehouse over here, and I'm downloading this warehouse from the Sketchfab. So I'll show you that how I get those warehouse. So for the warehouse, I'm using this model, and here is the actual creator. So many thanks to the creator who make this model and make it as free. And in order to download this model, just go to this download 3D model over here. And if you use this model, you have to copy this credit and paste it in your video description. And we're going to use this OBJ format. Just click over this download. So once you download, you will find this folder. Just extract it. And then we're going to open this file. And here is the source. And we have to extract this file also. And inside this folder, here we will find this OBJ file here. Okay, but one thing we can see that if we just import this OBJ file into our Unreal Engine, so let's see how it works. So first we go to this content folder, and then we're going to create a new folder, and maybe we name these as 3D models, and then we open this one, and we go over here to drag this file. So maybe we place it over here, and we select all of these files, and then we just drag it over here and just click on this import. and it will take little time to import this obj file over here. So here is this file, so it's just going to bring it over here, and as you can see this is very small, so maybe we're going to increase its scale. So press R and then we're going to increase its scale, so like this, and you can see that it's not aligned properly, so we're going to rotate it also, so like this. It will look something like this, and maybe there is some extra portions that we don't need here, so we're going to omit some of these extra portions from this model, or as you can see that we have to clean this model according to our need. Okay, so for the cleaning purpose I using Blender, so maybe we're going to open Blender. So it's not a very heavy task. I will show you that how you can do this cleaning process very easily inside Blender. So we're going to close our Unreal Engine and also save our progresses here. So here we are in Blender, so we're going to delete all of these presets here, and then we're going to import our model here. So first we go to this file, then go to this import, and because our file is in obj format, so we select this wavefront obj. So here is this obj format, and you can also see this MLT, but we just select this obj format here, and then we just click on this import obj. So here it is, and in order to navigate inside Blender, it is very different than Unreal Engine. So we're going to click over our middle mouse button here, and then if we move our mouse, you can orbit around your model here, and if you want to move your model, just press and hold the shift key and then press the middle mouse button here, and you can move your object here. And also you can wheel up and down to zoom in and zoom out throughout your model. So this is how you can easily move your model here. Okay, just like that. So now we're going to delete this unwanted part. So first we're going to select our model, just click over our model here. Then we go to this option here that is called this object mode. We go to the drop down list and we select this edit mode. And when we select this edit mode, your model looks something like this. And then we're going to select this unwanted part to delete. But first we go to this wireframe mode here. So we just select this wireframe mode, and then we're going to select. So there is multiple ways to select our model. So maybe first we go to the top view. So if we just click over here, or if you click on this Z, you will get this top view, and maybe we're going to first delete this area. So just click over here and then drag your mouse, just select this. So in that way we can select this area, and then we just click delete on the keyboard, and you will find this delete option. Just select these vertices to delete all these vertices from this area, just like that. And you can see that you can easily delete all this unwanted part from this area. Okay, so likewise we can select this area. So if we just go over here and select this area, and we press delete and just click on these vertices, and you can see that we can easily delete this area also. So also do the same thing. So I press and hold the shift key and just click on this middle mouse button and just drag my mouse to move this model over here. And then maybe we can just click over here and we select this area, press delete and vertices, and then we're going to do the same things over here also. So we select this part here, press delete and vertices. So now if we click the middle mouse button to see that how our model looks something like this from this view. Okay, so as you can see that, and there are some of this tree. So now we're going to use the other selection method. So maybe we can place our model over here. Then we go to the selection mode, and if we just click on this little arrow button of this option and not release your click, just drag your mouse to this select lasso tools here. So now we can just click anywhere here, and you can easily select this tree over here. Okay, and then we just delete this one, and you can see that you can nicely delete this unwanted part. Okay, so do the same things over here also. So maybe we can zoom it a little bit, or also move our model over here, and then we're going to select this. So like this, we can easily select and then just delete. Okay, so very easy, but it is a time consuming process. So if you put more time here, you can nicely clean your model here. So as you can see, here is some of this unwanted part. So again, we can select from here. And also maybe we can leave it as it is because we're going to put other assets over here. So this area will hide by some other assets. And also here you can see these things. So maybe we can also erase this one. Okay, so now you can understand that how we can easily delete these unwanted parts from our model. So this is look nice now. And if we go to our object mode here again, and then if we go to the shading tab, so now you can see that this is our new model look like. Okay, so this is very usable now. So when you satisfy with the cleaning, you have to export this model, but in this time maybe we're going to use this model as a FBX model. So we're going to export it as a FBX. So we go to this file, then go to this export, and then we go to this FBX option here. And here from you can easily choose the pathway where you want to export your model here. So maybe we name this as, and just click on this export. So here is this FBX file that we just exported, and now we're going to reopen our Unreal Engine project. And then we're going to reopen our level. So we just go to this content, then we open our tutorial level. So this is our old house model, and now we're going to re-import our new house model after the edit. So again, we go to this 3D models folder here, and we're going to import our new model also over here. So this is the new model. Just bring it over here, and because it's a ABX model, so we get this kind of pop-up window here, and you can also make it as a nanite. So you just click over this build nanite data, and then click on this import all. Okay, and we get some of this error message here, but just close this one, and here it is. Okay, and you can see that it also comes with its own material. So we just bring it over here, and you can see that it's also aligned properly and with a nice size here. So now if we just bring it down, you can see that this looks something like this, and we cannot identify the actual size reference here. So we're going to put a mannequin model to get our actual size reference. So for this, we go to this characters folder, then we go to this mannequins, go to this mesh, and here is the mannequin model. So we just bring it over here. So as you can see that if we look it from the top, you can see that this is really nice and clean here because we cleaned this model, and this is the old one. So we're going to delete this one over here, and we bring our warehouse model here, and also we rotate this to 180 degree over here. Okay, just like that. So this is how you can make this nice process. Okay, so maybe we can put it a little higher here. And as you can see that if you see some of this portion which is not visible from this side, so we have to do one thing, that we can select our model here, and then we go to its material, and maybe we click on this search option to get this actual position of this material, and then we double click to open this material. And after select this material, we go to its details option here, and then if we go down, you can find this option called this two-sided. Just enable this one, apply this, and you can see that you can nicely block this area and also save this one. Okay, and now you can see that this look much better with this block lighted area. Okay, maybe we can place it over here. Okay, and also you can do one thing, that you can see that our specular highlighted of this house is look something like that, that is look like plastic here. So we go over here to its material, Okay, so you can see that we only have this base color and this normal map here, but the metallic, specular and roughness have and doesn't have any values here. So maybe we just click over this metallic, right click and click on this promote to parameter. Okay, and the default value is 0, so we maybe left it as 0, but we go to this roughness, again right click on this promote to parameter here, and maybe we can put some value to the roughness. So maybe we can put the value to maybe 1 here, and then if we apply this value, now you can see that it is look more rough here. So it's not look like it's made with plastic because it's not that glossy anymore. So this is how you can nicely set up the material of this house also. Okay, so now we're going to close this one here. Okay, so this is the basic work, and now we're going to do some of this landscape sculpting to make things look nicer. Okay, so maybe first we're going to put our this warehouse little bit higher from the ground, maybe here. And now we're going to put our landscape little bit higher here to match this level. So we go to our landscape mode. Then we go to the sculpting and make sure that you select the sculpt tool here. And we're going to elevate our landscape little bit higher here. Okay. And then we go to this flatten tool here and we're going to flat our landscape. So maybe we can flat from this side. So we select this side and now we're going to just move our mouse to make a nice flat area over here. And then also we go to the smooth tool here and you can also smooth this edge area here. Okay, so this is very simple to do. Okay, and also we go to our selection mode, then we go to our warehouse, and you can just put it little bit down to the ground here. Okay, and maybe we can go to landscape mode again, and then we go to this flatten tool here. Maybe we go to this height and start flattening, so you can also get nice curve edges over here. Okay, so now you can understand that what I'm going to trying to do here. And then also we're going to do some landscape painting over this area. So for this we go to this landscape, then we go to this paint option here, and maybe we use this one or this one here, which is present in the D slot, and then we just go over here and start painting here. Okay, so this look nice, and now we're going to put a road over here. So we're going to need a road material, but as you can see that there is no road material over here. So we're going to download a road material from the Megascan, and then also I show you that how you can add the road material over this landscape material. So first we're going to download the material. So we go to over our content drawer, and then we go to this add quick cell content here. And I have already downloaded a material for the road. So I go to this local here, and there is the material. So I have also give the link in the description down below. So in order to download, just go over here, and here from you can change the quality and just click on this download button, and then just click on this add button, and we minimize this one. So here is this material and the textures. Okay, so now we're going to add those textures over here, so we can paint this material over here. Okay, so how we can do that? So here is this landscape material. So if you not find this material over here, just go to our selection mode. Then we're going to select our landscape, and after that we go to its details panel, and here from you can easily find this landscape material. So just double click to open this material. So here it is, and now we're going to replace any material with this road material. So maybe we can replace this B material over here, because you can see that we not really using the B material, because we only use this C material as well as this D material. So we're going to replace this B material over here. Okay, so here is the B material. So first we're going to change this color map. So here is this color map. So we just drag and drop over here, which is the albedo map here. And then we need this height map, but as you can see that there is no height map over here, but we have this ORD map. So if you just open this ORD map here, you can see that this ORD map consists of 3 different maps. So if we just uncheck those G and B, this is our occlusion map. And if we just select this G1, this is the roughness map. And if we select this B1, this is the height map or displacement map. So we're going to use this one only. And when you choose the B map, and if you want to make a nice result with these textures, you can do one thing, that you go to this compression settings over here. Then we just click on this drop down list and select this HDR compressed. Okay, just like that. And then we just save this one. Then we go to our landscape material, and then we just drag this texture over this height map. Okay, and also we go to this normal map, and we have our normal map over here. So we just put it over here, and we leave our roughness map as it is. Okay, so just save it from here. And now if we go to our landscape mode again, then we go to our paint mode here. And now as you can see that our B layer is changed with this road textures. Okay, so now if we just select this B material over here, and if we start painting, as you can see that we can easily paint this new material over our landscape. Okay, so this is that easy. Okay, so as you can see that this look really amazing, and you can also get this nice displacement. But if you want to increase the displacement, you can also do that. So if we go our landscape material and double click to open this, and then we go to its B material channel, and if we go down, you can find this option, that is the material displacement. And if you have this displacement amount to 0.1 here, and if we increase this to maybe 1, and you can get more displacement here, but this is so much exaggerated, so we're not going to use that much value over here. So we're going to make it as 0.1, which is look decent. Okay, so this is how you can also increase or decrease the displacement amount on this material. Okay, so now this look nice. Okay, so now we're going to put a barricade over here, or maybe as you can see that this area is not look right, so maybe we can also paint with this grass material over here. So now we're going to put a barricade over here. So for the barricade, I'm using a Megascan assets also. So I have already downloaded some, so this is the barricade that I'm going to use here. So here it is. But before I use this one, maybe I make this as a nanite mesh. So I just right click over here, then we go to this nanite and click on this enable nanite. Okay, and now we're going to put these assets, put it over here, just like that. And then also I duplicate it. Okay, and here in the outliner folder, you can see that when we put so many assets, this area is populated too much. So we're going to organize those assets. So maybe we can select all of these assets and put it in a folder to make things organized. Okay, just like that. And now inside this folder, these are all these barricades. So we select all of these barricades here, and then we duplicate it. So now as you can see that this looks something like that, or maybe we can make this gap over here. So we going to select all of this, and then we just move it here. Okay, so this look nice for now, and we're going to create a pond over here. So for this, we go to our landscape mode again, and make sure that you select our sculpt tool here. And now we're going to make a pond over here. So in order to make a pond, we going to press and hold our shift key here, and then we just click to make this sculpting to downwards. Okay, just like that. And when you get a nice down landscape here, you can go to our flatten tool, and then go to this downside and just click, and then you can just start painting to maintain this downside. Okay, and also we go to our smooth tool here, and maybe we're going to smooth this area. So as you can see that this look really amazing. And now we're going to put different assets to our project file to make the further actions. So I'm going to show you that which asset I'm going to use for this project. So I'm using this ruler Australia pack for the river. For the trees, I'm using this Megascan European Black Alder. For some ground asset, I'm using this Nordic Coast Collections. And for some ground asset, I'm using this Megascan Forest Path. Okay, so when we add those assets, you will get all these folders over here. So first we're going to put a river over here. So we're going to put a water material. But before we do that, first we're going to create a plane on which we can apply this water material. So we go to this option and then we go to this shape and go to this plane. So here it is. And now we first going to increase its scale. So we select this plane from here and then we go to its details panel and then we go to its scale. We're going to increase its scale to maybe 200 over here. And then we're going to put this plane little bit down here, maybe here. Okay. And then we're going to apply a water material on this. So for the water material, we go to our ruler Australia pack, just double click to open. Then we go to this water folder here, and here you can find this water material. So I'm using this second one, which is this water material instance. Just drag and drop over here. And as you can see that we can easily apply this water material on this surface. Okay. So as you can see that this looks something like this. And now maybe we're going to make a camera for our scene. So we go to this box again, then we go to the cinematics and create a cine camera actor. Okay, and here is our camera. So we just right click over this camera, then we click on this snap object to view. Okay, and then also we go to this perspective and we select our cine camera actor. And also we're going to make a sequencer for our scene. So we go to this box, then we go to this at level sequence. And maybe you also name this as a tutorial sequence, and then you just click on this save. So here it is. And now we're going to bring our camera over this sequence. So we go to our cine camera actor and drag and drop over here. Okay. And then we select our camera from here and we go to its details panel. First we go to this film back. We're going to change this preset to 16:9 DSLR. Okay, just like that. And then also we come over here, go to this current focal length. We're going to change it maybe 15mm presets here. Okay, so we can get a nice wide angle view over here. And then also we select our camera and we go to its details panel. We go down under this lens option. First we go to this bloom option here. We're going to change this method to standard to convolution here. And also we go to the exposure. First we're going to change this metering mode to maybe manual here, and also go to this exposure compensation. Maybe we change this to 10 for now. And also we go down here, there is this lens flare option here. Maybe we're going to enable this lens flare, and also we're going to decrease this value to maybe 0.1. And after that we go to the reflections option here. And we go to this lumen reflections, and here you will find this high quality translucent reflections. Just activate this one and also enable this from here, and now you can see that you can get a nice reflection over here. So if you just turn this off, you can get this kind of reflection, but if you turn this on, you can get nice reflection over this river area. Okay, so this look nice for now, and maybe we're going to change our light position here. So now we're going to put the trees also. So for the tree, I'm using these Megascan Black Alder assets. So maybe we go over here. This is the Black Alder, and then we're going to put a filter over here for the static mesh. And if you not have any filters here, just go to this 3-line option. Then we go to this static mesh filter, just enable this one, and you will get all these static meshes over here. Okay, so now we're going to put the trees here. So maybe first we're going to put a tree over here. So let's see, maybe we're going to use this one. So just put it over here. Okay, and you can see that these trees look amazing. Maybe we can increase its scale a little bit more. So maybe we can select it here and increase its scale a little bit. Maybe we can put it over here. And for the decoration purpose, we can also put additional roots here. So we have this rural Australia pack for this. So if we go to this rural Australia and also enable this static mesh filter, you can get nice roots also here. So maybe if we go down here, you can see this kind of roots. So maybe we can put those roots over here, and also we can increase its scale. So you can get nice roots also. Okay, so as you can see that this also blend with this tree. So maybe we can duplicate it one more time, and maybe we can rotate this. And as you can see that this look amazing. Okay, and now maybe we're going to put other trees over here. So maybe use the same tree. So maybe we can put it over here. Maybe we can increase its scale a little bit. And then also we use different trees over here. And also we can increase its scale. So as you can see that when we put those trees, you can see that in this area looks really amazing. Okay, and maybe we can change our light position over here. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to put the tree here also. So it will take little time, but I'm just manually put the tree. But if you want, you can use the foliage section. But I think my PC is not that good, so I am just manually put few trees over here to fill this area. Okay, so as you can see that this look nice. Maybe we can also make some other elevations over this area. So we go to our landscape mode, then we go to this sculpt tool here, and maybe we can elevate this area a little bit up. So maybe we can just sculpting from here. And also go to the smooth tool and start smoothing over here. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to put the trees over here. So again, go back to our selection mode, and then we're going to duplicate. And now we're going to paint our landscapes also. So we go to our landscape mode again, then we go to our paint option here, and here from we can maybe use this material over here, and then we're going to start painting. Okay, and now if you see that we didn't get this displacement as I can see earlier, you can just go to our selection mode, then we select our landscape, then we go to its nanite option here. Here it is. Just click on this rebuild data, and you can get this kind of nice landscape over here. And also if we can go to our water material, maybe we can change here. Okay, just like that. Maybe we can put this little higher here, maybe over here. And also maybe we can make a nice gradual slope over here. So we go to our landscape, then we go to our sculpt mode here, then we go to this flatten tool here, and maybe we can start flattening. Okay, just like that. And then also we go to the smooth tool here. Okay, then we go again our selection mode. Okay, so this look amazing. Or maybe we can go to our landscape mode, then go to the paint. Maybe we're going to use this one over here. So we just start painting. Okay, and also we select this plane, and maybe we can disable all this snapping here, and then we just put it little down here. Okay, so now you can see that our scene look little bit better now. But one thing that if we close to here, you can see that if any assets intersect our landscape, you can see that there is a very sharp transition here. Okay, and this look like that this is very fake here, but if we make something that this texture gradually disappear over these assets, it will look nice. So this is a process called the runtime virtual texturing, and if we enable this runtime virtual texturing for every assets, you can easily make this texture gradually disappear over these assets and it will look nicer. Okay, so let's make the runtime virtual texturing. So how we can do that? So before we do anything, first we go to edit, then we go to this project settings, and in the search bar, first we type for virtual texture, and you can see that virtual textures, and underneath you will see that enable virtual texture support. Okay, just enable this one, and then we have to restart our engine. So just click on this restart now, and also you have to save our progresses. And after restart, we close this one, and then also we're going to open our level. So here is the tutorial level. Then also we open our sequencer here, and also we select our camera. Okay, and then we're going to create virtual textures. So first we create a folder for this. So we go over our content drawer here, then right click and create a folder, and then we name this as virtual texture. Okay, so here it is. Then we're going to open this folder, so double click to open, and here we're going to create the textures. So we're going to create two textures, one for the height and one for this material. So first we're going to right click, then we go to this texture, and here you will find this runtime virtual textures. Okay, so we're going to rename this first. So maybe we right click and rename this as vt_height. Okay, and then also we make a duplicate copy of this. So we press Ctrl C and Ctrl V here. Then we're going to also right click to rename this one, and we're going to name this as VT material. Okay, so we have these two textures. So these are our virtual textures. So first we open this virtual texture height, just double click to open, and then we go to this option called this virtual texture content, and in this drop down menu we select world height. Okay, because this virtual texture represent the heights. Okay, and also open this one, but we not going to change anything here, just leave it as it is. Okay, so then we just close this. Okay, and then we're going to create a virtual texture volume. So we go to this option here, then we go to this volume, and at the end you will find this runtime virtual texture volume. So we just open this volume here. So as you can see, there is this runtime virtual texture. Then we go to its details panel. So here is the details panel, and here you will find these virtual textures. So first we're going to apply one virtual texture over here. So maybe we make this runtime virtual texture volume for this height. Okay, so we just drag and drop this height over here, that is the virtual texture, and then we go up, and here you have to specify this landscape here. So this virtual texture work on this landscape. So we're going to pick our landscape here. So this option called this bounce align actor, we select this picker here, just select our landscape. Okay, and as you can see that now this option changed to landscape here, and after you set the landscape you have to set this bounce. Just click over here, that is the set bounce. Okay, and then also we do one thing, that if we go here you can see that this is the boundary for our virtual texture volume. Maybe if you can see this yellow line here, but you can see that it's completely cover our landscape but not completely cover our heights here. So we're going to increase the height of this volume. So we select this runtime virtual texture volume, then we go to the scale here and we go to this axis. Maybe we're going to increase this value. So if we go over here and maybe put 10 here, and now you can see that this is little bit higher here. So it can now totally cover our landscape here. And after that we go to this runtime virtual texture again and we duplicate this one. So just Ctrl D to duplicate. And here is this another runtime virtual texture volume. And after selecting this runtime virtual texture volume, we go to its details panel, and here you also get this virtual texture slot, and here we're going to put this one, that is the material. Okay, that is the virtual texture material. We just drag and drop over here. Okay, so this is all done over here, but you can see that it's not working now because we have to tell this landscape material to capture those textures also. So this is a very lengthy process, so I go through very slowly here so you can understand. Okay, so then we select our landscape here. So as you can see that we select our landscape, and here also you can see the landscape is selected. And after select, we go to its details panel, then we go down, and you will find this virtual texture option here. So we're going to put these virtual textures over here also. So in order to put those virtual texture, we click on this plus sign twice. Okay, and then we're going to put those virtual textures over here. So first we're going to put this height over here, and then also put this material over here. Okay, so just like that. So now we all set here, but we have to enable the virtual texture for each and every assets here. You can see that this asset is not enable this virtual texture, so we see the seams here. So in order to enable the virtual texture for this asset, we have to do one thing, that we select this assets here, then we go to its material. So in this details panel we have this material for this assets. So just double click to open this material here. Then we go down and you will find this parent material also. So if we open this parent material, so you can see that this is the material node. So we have to put a function over here to enable the virtual texture, and the function for this virtual texture also comes with this landscape material. So if we go to our landscape folder which hold this landscape material, and inside this materials folder we have this functions folder, just double click to open. And here you will find, if we make a room here you can find this MF virtual texture ground blend. Okay, just drag and drop these functions over here. So here you can see that this looks something like that, and then we're going to make these functions in between these two nodes. So we just drag this node here and also output this node to this material attributes. Okay, so this is all done here. Now we're going to apply this and also save this. Okay, so now close this, and again we didn't see this virtual texture in action, so we again reopen this material here, and then if we go down here you will find this new option called this virtual textures. Okay, so now if you enable this one, and also we have to activate this one, and after enable this we have to assign our virtual texture that we created earlier, have to assign over here. Okay, so we have to activate those slot, and then we go to our virtual texture folder. So if we go down, there is the virtual texture folder, and those are the virtual texture height and the virtual texture material that we created earlier. Just assign those over here. So as you can see that it's called this RVT placeholder material, so we have to put this material over here. Okay, and as you can see it's represent the height slot, so we going to place our height texture over here. Okay, so just like that. And then if we see here, you can see that it's now functioning, but we have to save this again. Okay, so now if we go over here, so if we just go to activate those options, and if you just increase, you can see that it looks something like that some of this green texture also appeared over here, but this look not right. So we have to go over this option here called the remove sides, activate this, and also deactivate from here. And now you can see that our these assets look totally green here, so we have to decrease this blending length here, and now you can see that this is nicely blend with our ground here. So as you can see that if we go little down here, and now you can see that these virtual textures in action. Okay, so and now you can also enable this process to other assets also. So if we go over here, so maybe we can enable these features for this root here, so we can also do that. So if we select this root here, maybe we can minimize this. If we select this root over here, then we go to its material inside this details panel, just double click to open this. Okay, so here it is. Then we go to its parent material. So here is this parent material, just double click to open. And now you can see that this looks something like that. So we have to put this material functions over here. So again, we go to this landscape folder here. Then we go to this materials. Then also go to these functions. And then we go to its virtual texture functions, just put it over here, and also we link with this. Okay, just like that. Okay, then we save this one, and then we go to its material, and here from you can also get these virtual texture options here. Just enable this, and also we put our runtime textures over here, so we activate those. And then we go to our virtual texture folder, and here is those two textures. So we first put this material over here, and then we put this height over here, and now you can see that it also functions with this virtual texture. But as you can see, we deactivate this remove side option here, and then you can see it can fully functional with this virtual texture. Okay, so if we go over here, you can see this is green, and you can also customize this process. So if we go to this virtual texture fall off length, you can decrease this fall off, and also you can increase the height. If we increase this, also decrease this. Okay, so this is all depends on you, that how much blending you need here. And you can also do one thing, that if you go to this noise texture, so if we just enable this noise textures here, and you can see that there is no sharp blending, it have this kind of noisy blending over here. Okay, so as you can see that there is little bit of noise, and you can also change this noise styling. So if you increase or decrease this noise styling, you can get this kind of noise over here. So I don't think that YouTube compression let us to visualize this. But when you do that, you can understand that what noise textures do here. Okay, so this is how you can activate or deactivate this virtual texture. But when you enable this virtual texture, it will look really amazing. Okay, so this is a lot process to enable the virtual texture for each and every assets, but when you do, you can get a nice result here. So we close this one. Okay, so this is how you can enable the virtual texture, and now we're going to put some assets over here. So as you can see that our tiling is not look right here for this roof, so I'm going to download a tile model and also put those tiles over here, and I'm using the Sketchfab to download the tile model here. So this is this tiles model that I'm going to use. So many thanks to this creator who actually built these assets, and in order to download, just go to here, and I'm downloading this FBX version. Just click over this download, and then I open this folder, go to the source, and here is the FBX file. So I'm going to import this one, and I also import this file into this 3D models folder that we created for this warehouse model. Just double click to open, and then we going to import this one also. And also we click on this build nanite and import all, and we also need to import the textures also. So again we go to this texture folder here it is, and we also going to drag it here. Then we going to prepare that material. So we open this default material which is for this roof model here. So just open this one, and then first we're going to delete this default texture here, and we're going to drag this albedo map over here and connect it with this base color here. Then we go to this normal map and also connect with this normal channel here. Then also put this roughness map over here and put it on this roughness. Okay, and then we're going to apply this one and minimize this. So here is our roof. So we're going to drag it over here. And also we're going to scale this up. So we go to the scale switch here. Okay, and then we're going to increase its scale little bit, not much, and then we're going to reposition it. Okay, and then we're going to duplicate it to this entire area. Okay, so we're going to duplicate it. And then we're going to select all of this, and also we can also select it from here also. So just like that, and then we're going to organize this. So we put it into a folder again. So here it is. Maybe we can also name this folder. So go to this edit and name to roof tile. Okay, then we're going to easily select all of this by just right clicking over this roof tile folder here. Then go to the select and click on this all descendants, just like that, and then we going to duplicate it all together. Okay, just like that, and also we put it over here. Okay, Then we can also minutely adjust all of this. So we're going to select it and maybe place it over here. Okay, so I roughly designed this, but if you put more times to adjust this, you can get a nice result. And also maybe we can duplicate this one here to fill this area also. And now you can see that this looks sometimes very repetitive. So maybe we can just select randomly tiles over here. Then we go to this transform and go to this mirror X. And then you can just change it position so it will not look that it is repetitive. Okay, so just randomly select any of these tiles over here and just change this to mirror X axis. So go to the transform, mirror X. Okay, so in that way it will look little different. Okay, so now you can see that this look much better. And if we reposition our sun, and you can get this kind of nice shadow over this roof here. Okay, so and also one thing we can do, that we can increase our sun size also. So we go to this search bar here and type for directional light, and here is our sun. So we're going to increase our source angle size. Okay, so this look better now. Okay, so now I can see that from here the roof also look nice. Okay, and then we going to create a ramp over here. Okay, so for the ramp I'm using a Megascan assets. So let's download the assets, and I'm using this wood assets here. So I'm going to download this one. So here is the assets. So first we go over here, then I'm going to put this log over here, just like that. Maybe we're going to put it over here, and then we're going to rotate this. Also you're going to increase its scale a little bit. Okay, and then maybe we're going to place it over here. Okay, and then we're going to duplicate this for multiple times to make the ramp here. And then also we're going to make a little bit of rotation here, random rotation, to make a look little bit of different here, just like that. Okay, so this look nice for now. And now we're going to make some of the side rails also. So we're going to duplicate this one. So maybe we can, if we select this one and duplicate this to make it 90 degrees over here, then we're going to place it over here. Okay, so this is how you can make this kind of nice ramp. And we can also do one thing, that maybe we can dip it down a little bit to look little bit of different. And also select this one and we also rotate it to look little bit of different here. Okay, So now you can see that you can nicely make this kind of ramp over here. Okay, and now we're going to put the virtual textures also over here. So how we can do that? So here is this material for all these assets. Just double click to open this material, and then we go to its parent material over here. Just double click to open, and then we're going to put this virtual texture functions over here. So as we say that virtual texture function is present inside this landscape folder. So if we go to this landscape folder here, then we go to this materials, then go to these functions, and here is this function. So just bring it over here, then we just connect it with this. Okay, just like that, and then we save this or apply this one, and then we're going to reopen our material for this logs. So we select this logs, go to its details panel, and here is the material. Just double click to open, then we come down over here. So here is the virtual textures. Just activate this from here, and then also we're going to bring all these virtual textures to here. So for the virtual texture that we created earlier, which is present inside this virtual texture folder, so here is this virtual textures. So first we go to put this material over here, but before we do that, we're going to activate those, and then we just bring it over here. Okay, and I can see that here is the virtual texture is appearing, but again we go to this remove sides option here and deactivate this. Okay, and now you can see that the virtual texture is working nicely here, and you can also decrease or increase the blending. Okay, just like that. Okay, so save this one. And we can also do one thing, that if we go over here, you can see that those logs are connected with the water. So it is probably that some of these areas are wet due to the water. So we can also do that because we have another material function for this. So as you remember that we have downloaded Nordic coast collections for our scene. So if we go to this Megascan folder, then if we go to this 3D assets, and you can get so many Nordic coast collection clips here because we have already downloaded. So if you go to this folder, and here if we go to this material, and if we open this material, and if we want to go the material node, so we go to this hierarchy, then we click on this option here, and here you can find these material functions, name this shore wetness. Okay, so we're going to just copy this material function. So just right click over here and then just copy this one. Okay, and then we minimize this and we select any of these assets here, then we go to its material. So here is the material, just double click to open, and then again we go to its parent material over here, just double click to open. So here it is, and then here we can also paste this function here. So we just Ctrl V to paste this wet functions over here, and again we're going to connect it here, and then we're going to reconnect it over here. Okay, and then if we apply this, we can get this kind of nice wet look over here. So as you can see that after these functions, wet functions, you will get this kind of look here, and this look nice. Okay, so now we come over here, and now we're going to put some of this concrete log over here. So for this I'm going to use this concrete beam here. So we're going to download this one. So here is this, place it over here, and also we're going to rotate this to 180 degree here. Then we're going to place it over here. Okay, and then we're going to put a stair over here, and here is the stair model here. So here is the staircase. So we're going to download this one. So here is a stair model. So we're going to bring it over here, and first we're going to rotate this. And as you can see that this is our landscape. So we're going to resculpt our landscape again. So we go to our landscape mode, then we go to the sculpt tool here, and maybe we decrease the brush size here, and then we press shift and hold the shift key and just dip it down our landscape here. Okay, and also go to the smooth tool here, and we're going to start smoothing here also. And also we going to go to our selection mode, then we duplicate our stair also over here. Okay, just like that. Maybe we go to our landscape mode, then we go to this flatten tool here. Maybe we start flattening here a little bit, and then again we go to the smooth tool here, and we're going to start smoothing here. Okay, and also maybe we're going to select these stairs and also duplicate it over here. Okay, just like that. And now you can see that this look nice. So we have nice stair also over here. And one thing we can also do, that we can also enable the virtual texture for these assets also. So now we're going to put some other assets. Maybe we can put some of the trees to here also, because you can see that this area looks little empty. So we're going to fill it with some trees here. So maybe we can duplicate those trees. Okay, so far so good. And now you can see that we are getting here, and we almost get our view here, but we have to design our scene nicely. So for the designing purpose, I'm going to use some of the Megascan assets as well as the Epic Game Marketplace assets, and all assets are free. First, I'm going to show you the Marketplace assets, that which asset I'm going to use for the designing purpose. So I'm going to use this Old West. Just click on this add, and also I'm using these assets also from this Old West, and also this one. And once you download the assets, you will find this Old West folder here into your content drawer. Just double click to open, and then if you turn on the static mesh filter, you will get all these assets over here. So we're going to use those assets to design this warehouse area. So maybe I will show you this part for design, and then maybe you can easily do this into the rest of this area also. So as you can see there, we have so many shelves here. So if we go over here, we can get this kind of shelves here. So maybe we can use those. So maybe we can put it over here. Just like we have another one, so maybe we can use this one. So this all depends on you. So don't just copy that what I am doing here. You can also use your imagination to design this area. Okay. And as you can see that this floor is not looking right, so maybe we can use another assets. So maybe if we go to this Megascan folder, so here is the Megascan folder, and if you enable the static mesh filter, and then if we go down at the end, you will find this S rocky forest path assets. Okay, so maybe we can use this one. So maybe we can just put it over here. So it is not concrete like, but it can also fit over here, so you can use it also. So again we go to this old west folder, and maybe we can put some of these barrels over here also. So here you can also see some of these nice rocks here. So instead of using this, you can also use those rocks over here. So if we put the rocks, you can get also a nice result in your scene. So maybe we can delete those assets. This rack shelves here also, so maybe if we go over here, you can also put those shelves here. Okay, so this is all for this area. So you can easily design the rest of this area by using this same technique here. So maybe we can go over here now. Okay, so this is how you can do that. And one thing that I also do in my actual video is that if you go to this pillar here or any pillars here, you will get that this pillar doesn't have so much details. So if you get a nice close-up shot, these pillars is not look right, because you can see that this is very flat here. So we can also do one thing, but this is a very time consuming, that we can manually put the single bricks over these pillars also. So I'll show you that how you can do this very quickly. So we have to download a brick model from the Megascan, and here from you can download this old brick model here. So here it is, and also we download some of these assets from here also. So maybe we can use this modular concrete model also, and some of this bench model, and then also maybe some of these wooden logs here, and so many other branches here, and maybe this one, and also this, and also you can use some of these tin sheets here, these bulk bags here, and also this railing will be very useful, and this roots model also, and maybe this one. And once you add those assets, we go to this Megascan folder here, and then if we go to this static mesh filter, you will get all these assets over here. Okay, so maybe we can put this garbage bag over here. So maybe if we put this over here, okay, just like that. And now I'm going to show you that how you can put some details over these pillars here. Okay, so as you can see, we have downloaded a brick model. So let's find the brick model here. So here it is. So maybe we go over here, but as I can say, this is a very time consuming process. So keep your patience and just do it. So you have to manually put these bricks over these pillars. Okay. So it will take a little time, but at the end, it will make a nice result to your scene. Okay, so maybe we can also duplicate it over here. But one thing we have to do, that when we put those bricks, we also put it into a folder, because there will be so many bricks. So this area will be populated by those assets. So we're going to put it into a folder here, and maybe also we name this folder as a, if we go to this edit and rename this, so we name this as a brick pillar or bricks. Okay, so now if we go at the top, if we go to this folder, you will get all this brick model inside this folder. Okay, so maybe we can also go over here and then we place it over here. Maybe our bricks a little bit bigger than this pillar, so we also make these pillars a little bit bigger here. Okay, and then again we duplicate this, or we can also enable this snapping here, or maybe snapping degree to 5 degree here, and then we going to press E to get this rotation gizmo, and also press and hold the Alt key and duplicate this to 90 degree here, and then we going to place it over here. Okay, and then again we duplicate one more time and do the same thing here also. And now we're going to put in another line over this line, so maybe we can duplicate this and place it over here. So as you can see that how the bricks are arranged, so we can also rotate this to 90 degree here. Okay, so as you can see that we made these 2 lines of this brick, and then we going to select all of these bricks. So select this brick here, then maybe we go to this folder, then right click, go to this select and select all descendant. Okay, just like that, and then we going to duplicate this just like that, so you can do these things very quickly. Okay, so just duplicate. Okay, and maybe you can see that this area is not look that good, so maybe we can also bring those bricks little bit inside, or maybe we can also make it little bit shorter here, or maybe not that much, and do the same thing for this also. Okay, and also you can see that there is some of these repetitions here, so if we just right click over here, then we go to this transform, and maybe you can also mirror this, so you can see that it not look repetitive here. So just okay, so as you can see that we totally done this area, and also you can do the same thing to make things randomly. So just go to this transform, change those to something different sides here, and it will look different. So if you done one pillar here, then rest of the things you just have to duplicate those bricks. So we go to this bricks folder and right click and click on this all descendant, and then maybe we can do one thing, that we can make it a group. So just right click and click on this group here. Okay, so in that way you will make a nice group here. So now if we just move this group, so if we just duplicate this group here, you can duplicate all these bricks together here. Okay, so now you can see that these things you can do very quickly here. Okay, so this is how you can make those pillars more detailed here. And if you want to make some changes, because when you make it as a group, you cannot change any bricks here, so you have to ungroup this again. So again you just right click and go to these groups and click on this ungroup, and then you can easily change those individual bricks here. Okay, just like that. So this is very handy. So in that way you can make those pillars look nice. Okay, And then also we going to put some other assets. So if we go over here, so here as you can see that this our ramp looks something like that. So maybe we can do one thing, that we can duplicate this poles here. So maybe we duplicate this here like this, and then maybe we can put it little down here. So as you can see, if we move our light here, so here is this, so maybe we can place it over here. Okay, and then also we duplicate this to this side also. And also we have another asset. So if we go over here, we can get some of these railings here. So here you can get this kind of railings. So you can also put those railings. So put it over here. Just like that. So now you can get nice result also. So this is how you can nicely design this area. And now again we have some of these pillars also. So maybe we can put these pillars over here. And I also like to put another asset. So this is one, which is this S mossy forest root. So I'm going to put it over here. So as you can see that these assets look really amazing. So if we go to close here, maybe we can use these assets here like this. Okay, so maybe we can duplicate it multiple times here. And maybe we can also put these assets. So if we go down here, and we'll get these wooden assets here. So you can also put it here in there to make a random design. Okay, and also we have some of these falling branches here. So you can also put those here and there. So maybe put it here. And then also we have these nice logs here. So okay, just like that. So now you can see that with these ground assets, it will look more amazing. And also you can do the same things over this side also. So I'm not doing it to this whole area, but you will get the idea. Okay, so now you can see that with these ground assets, it really look amazing. Maybe we can also duplicate it here, put it little down here. Okay, just like that. So this is how you can put nice small details to make your scene look stunning. Okay, so this is how you can do that. And also in my actual video, I'm using some iron fence over here also. So I'm also show you that how I get those iron fence. So I'm downloading those iron fence from the Sketchfab. So for the fence, I'm using this model here. So here is this actual creator. So many thanks to the creator. So here it is. And you also get all these textures here. So we're going to select both of these assets and these textures. And then we go to the 3D models folder here. And here we're going to create another folder. And inside this folder, we're going to bring this. Then we minimize this and import all. And then we close this one. Okay, so here it is. And now we go to open the material here. So here is the material. Open this one. And then we're going to change this default material with its own material. Okay, so maybe we go to the top to this textures folder, and here is all these textures. So maybe we use this rust one, so we put this over here and then just connect it with this base color. Then it's a height map, so we don't need that one, but we need this metallic one, so use that, and also connect it to this metallic channel. Then go to this normal map, connect with this normal, and also use this roughness map, connect with this roughness. Okay, then we apply this and save this. Okay, now we minimize this, and so you can see all these assets over here. So we're going to select all of this because it's all different parts. So we select all of these parts and we bring it all together over here. So you can see this fence over here, and there is all this component of this fence. So again, we're going to organize this. So we put it into a folder here. So here it is. So we name this as a fence. So now if we go to this fence folder, then right click, go to the select and select all descendant here. Maybe we can make it as a group. So we right click and click on this group here. And now it will be a group of models. So maybe we can put it over here. Okay, so now you can see that we really make things nicer here. So maybe if we put our sun to this side, maybe you can get this kind of nice lighting also. Maybe we put our sun maybe here, so we can get nice lens flares also. And maybe we can go to the search bar and type for fog, and maybe we can decrease the fog density little bit down to make our scene little bit of clearer here. Okay, just like that. And also increase the fog fall off here. Okay, just like that. And now you can get nice result also. And now finally we're going to put some of the grass over our landscape, so it will get our final details to our scene. So for this grass, again I'm going to download some assets from the Megascan. So I go to this Quixel content. So I'm going to use this grass model, which is called the grass clumps. So I'm going to download this. So here is this grasses. So we select all of these three types of grass and right click and make it as a nanite. Okay, and then I go to the foliage section here, and as you can see, all these three grasses also added over here. So we select all of these three grasses, then we select those grasses, and maybe we can also decrease our brush size here, maybe 50 or so, and then we're going to start painting. So let's see how it look like. So as you can see that the density is not that enough. So we're going to increase the density. So we're going to increase the density from here. So maybe we can delete those. And in order to delete, just press and hold the shift key and just paint. You can easily delete. So here you can get the density. So there is a paint density. So maybe we increase it to all the way 1. And here also we increase the density to maybe 500 here. Okay. So now if we paint, you can get nice dense grasses here. Okay, so now you can just use those grasses here. And also we have another ground assets from this forest tute folder. So if you go to this forest tute, so we have already added those assets. And then if you go to the static mesh, you can get some of these nice assets here, like these falling leaves, some of these grasses here. and also falling sticks. So again we go to our foliage section, then we go over here to these assets, and maybe we can make those assets as a nanite. So we select all of these assets, then right click, go to the nanite, click on this enable nanite for 31 meshes, and then maybe we can select these falling leaves here and put this over here, and then we only select those falling leaves. So we deselect those grasses and only select those falling leaves. And maybe if we start painting here, and you can see some of these grasses here, so maybe we can deselect those grasses. So we only select those grasses here and we delete those grasses for now. And also we go over here to the erase density and we can erase those grasses only. Then we only select these two here, and now we start painting. Okay, as you can see that there is also small grasses here. So, and maybe we can go to settings and make it as a high settings here, so we can move nicely. Okay, and you can see that there is small grasses too, but we going to delete this grass. So we also uncheck this one and only select these falling leaves. Maybe we can increase its density to maybe 200 here. And also do one thing, that we go to this placement option and deselect this align normal option here. Okay, so now if we start painting, you can get nice falling leaves here and there also. Okay, just like that. And now also we're going to put some falling sticks here. So again, here is so many sticks model here, so we're going to select all of this and then we're going to bring it over here. Okay, and then again we're going to deselect these falling leaves here and only select those falling sticks, and then we're going to come over here. Maybe we decrease the density to 50 here. Okay, and now if we start painting, you can get nice falling sticks here also. Okay, so now you can see that with these small details, this look really amazing. Okay, so again go back to our selection mode. Maybe we go back to our epic mode again, and so you can get nice water reflection here, and everything turns on, and you can see that this look really amazing. Okay, but there is a lot of things to do. If you see my actual video, you can see that I put so many other details over here, so you can also do that. Okay, so if we go to this ruler Australia pack, then we go to the static mesh filter, and here from you can also get nice assets here. So maybe some of these wooden poles here, so you can just put some poles here and there and it will look nice. And then also we have some of these falling trees here, so if we just put some of these dead tree models over here and there, it also look nice. Okay, just like that. And then also we have some of this nice root model, as we just use it here, and then so on and so forth. Okay, then also you have some of these falling sticks from here also, so you can also use this, but you can see this is very small to see. Okay, and then also we have other old waste assets. So if we go to the static mesh, and you can get some of these nice assets from here also, so you will get this kind of nice benches if you want to put over here. And then also we have some of these boxes here, so you can also put some boxes here and there to make things nice looking. Okay, and also we have some of these, so those are some of these sacks, so you can also put some sacks over here and there. Okay, maybe you can put some of these scans here and there. It is not necessary, but if you want, you can also do that. Okay, so this is it for now, and now we're going to create a nice camera animation to our scene. Okay, so for this we go to the sequencer. Maybe we're going to create a 10 seconds long video, so maybe we change our frame length here, and if your video is 24 frame per second, then you have to put 240 frames here to make a nice 10 seconds long video. Maybe we can also get some extra frames here. Okay, so here it is, and now this is our 240 frames timeline here, and also we can extend our camera cut here a little bit to make some of these warm-up frames. Okay, just like that. Then we come over here, and now we're going to make a camera animation like that someone just walking here and at the same time he is filming. So how we can make those animations? So first we go to this camera and then go to this transform here and make a keyframe at the beginning, but make sure that the keyframe will be linear interpolation. So we just right click over this keyframe and then select this linear option here. Okay, and also we go to this option, that is the keyframe option. We set it default to this linear here, and also we check on this auto keyframe, and then we go to this very last frame here. So how we do that? Just click over here to go to this end frame here, and then we just move our camera over here. Okay, so just like that. And as we enable this auto keyframe, so you can see that there is a automatic keyframe generated here. So now you can see that you can make this camera animation here, but we have to make some camera shake also. So for this camera shake, we have to make a blueprint for camera shake. So we go to our content drawer again and also disable this static mesh filter. Also we go to our content folder here, and here we're going to make the blueprint for the camera shake. So we just right click, then we go to this blueprint class, and here in all classes in the search bar we type for shake. Okay, and you will find this camera shake base. Okay, select this one and click on this select. So we rename it as shake, and then we open this, and first we go to this root shake pattern. We change this to parallel noise camera shake pattern here, and then we go to its drop down and then go to this timing, and first we go to the duration and we make this as 0. Okay, and then finally we go to our sequencer again, and then we go to this camera component here and go to this plus sign. Then we go to this camera shake and we select our blueprint here. Okay, and we also extend this blueprint over here. Okay, just like that. And now we going to this looping option here, just activate this and we play our video here. Okay, so now we going to change some settings for this shake. So first we go to this rotation here. Maybe we put some value to maybe 1 here, and you can see that it is shaking a little bit. Maybe we can go here. Maybe we can go here and then we go to this lit option and unlit it. So now you can see some smooth animation here. Okay, and but we want to make something like that someone is walking, so maybe our camera moves or shake up and down here. So for this we go to this pitch option and go to this amplitude. Maybe we change this to maybe 2 here, and also we increase the frequency, or maybe we change this to amplitude to 5. And now you can see that some of our camera is shaking up and down. Maybe we change the frequency to maybe 2 here, but you can see that the up and down shake is too much. So maybe we going to decrease this value to maybe 2 here. So this looks something that someone is walking. Maybe we compile these settings and then we go to here and we go to our lit mode here. And now if we play, and maybe you can see that it like that they're walking very fast here, so we have to slow the movement. So maybe we can narrow our animation area here. Okay, so now if you see, but you can see that the shake is little too much. So again we go to this camera shake, and then maybe we go to this frequency, we decrease it to maybe 1.5. okay, and now it look something right. Okay, so now as you can see, okay, and now one thing we can also do that first we maybe start from the ground here, and then some frames forward, maybe we can look to up, or maybe look it to this side. Okay, so as you can see that look it to this side, and then maybe sometime we maintain this side. Okay, and then finally few frames we can look to here, and then finally also we come down here, and then finally here, and also we select all of these keyframes here, then right click and also make it as a cubic interpolation. Okay, so now as you can see, okay, or maybe we can just delete this keyframe here. So now as you can see, okay, so this is how you can make this kind of camera animation. Okay, so this is how you can do that, and also you can do some of the visual effects to put in. So maybe if we go our content drawer, then maybe if we go to the ruler Australia pack here, and then we go to the effects folder, and here you can get some of these falling leaves effects. So maybe we can put some of these falling leaves effects over here also. So here maybe, and you can get nice falling leaves effects here. And then also maybe we can put some of it over here. Okay, so as you can see that you can get some of these nice falling leaves. So in order to render it into high quality, I am using the movie render queue, but if we go to the window and go to the cinematic, there is no movie render queue here, so we have to enable this plugin. So we go to this edit, then we go to this plugins, and here I search for movie render queue. And here is the movie render queue plugin. Just enable this one, as well as this movie render queue additional render passes. And then I have to restart my engine, and also open our sequencer here, and then we go to this perspective and select our camera. Okay, so now everything look nice. Maybe you can do one thing, that you can also change the light position. Maybe if we go to press Ctrl and L, and then maybe you can put our sun over here. Okay, and then we go to the window, go to the cinematics, and go to this movie render queue, and then we go to this render, and we have to select our actual sequence. So in this case, this is the tutorial sequence, and then we go to these settings inside the unzip config. And first we are going to delete this JPEG sequence, because we don't want to render our video into a JPEG sequence. So we go to the settings, first we go to the anti-aliasing, and we change the sample count to maybe 32 here, and also click on this override anti-aliasing, and also we click on this render warm-up frames, because we leave some frames for this warm-up settings. And then also go to the settings, go to this camera, and I select this frame close. And then again go to the settings and go to the high resolution here, and select the subsurface scattering. Again we go to the settings and go to the grain override. Okay, and don't need to change anything here. Again we go to the settings and we select this EXR sequence, and finally we go to the output, and here from you can easily change the output directory where you want to save your renders, and everything look nice. Just click on this accept, and you click on this render local, so in order to render this sequence. Okay, so this is how you can actually make this kind of scene. So this is it, and this is how you can render this video, but make sure that you delete this mannequin before you render. So I put all this information in this video so you can easily make this kind of scene, and I hope that you really enjoy this because it's a very long tutorial. So this is for today, and we will see in my next video. So till then, take care and bye bye.